How is the little champer? Is he healthy?
Yeah, he's doing really good. We're actually going to go to the doctor's office tomorrow to get the MMR vaccine.
Oh, the pharmaceutical companies got you, didn't they? They just out to get your money. Pump your kids with weird chemicals like mercury just to make a buck.
Oh, come on, Phil. Everyone gets vaccinated, right?
I prefer a natural immunity over an artificial one. When my child gets sick, I let nature win its course. Humans got by just fine for thousands of years without vaccines. Now that they're saying vaccines cause autism, that's a risk I'm not willing to take.
Is this true, Doctor? Is there anything I should be concerned about?
Well, your apprehension is perfectly normal, and I'm glad you're concerned about your child's safety. But some of those worries are rooted in speculation and myth, which are sometimes difficult to see through. So let's use scientific and historical fact to debunk some of those myths regarding vaccines. Essentially, the purpose of a vaccine is to enable our bodies to effectively recognize and destroy disease-causing antigens. An antigen is any foreign substance, like a virus or bacteria, that elicits an immune response and prompts our bodies to produce the necessary defenses to destroy the antigen. Most vaccines either contain a weakened version of an entire virus, a dead virus, or a portion of the virus. All of these vaccines contain alterations to pathogens that allow our bodies to build immunity without creating a full-blown response to the exposure.
Could you tell me a little more about the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine you were here for today?
Sure. So this vaccine comes in 2 doses, one at 12 months and the other typically between the ages of 4 and 6. And the MMR vaccine contains a weakened state of the 3 viruses. But in this form, they pose no threat to the recipient while still inducing a response by the immune system that makes the recipient very resistant to future infection.
Resistant? How?
When your child receives his vaccination, certain cells in his body will react to recognize and remember the viruses so that if he is ever exposed to them in the future, his body will effectively remove them.
But aren't there some dangerous side effects? I heard they can cause seizures.
While it is true that 1 in 4,000 doses will cause a minor fever-related seizure, this risk pales in comparison to the consequence of your child actually getting measles. Measles can cause severe seizures and can lead to death in about 1 in 10 infected people. Infants are particularly vulnerable to measles with a higher frequency of lung infections and brain swelling compared to non-vaccinated adults exposed to measles. It is estimated that the MMR vaccine saves about 1 million people around the world each year.
1 in 4,000 does sound pretty low, but I'm not sure I'm comfortable with any risk. What about the chemicals that they use to make vaccines? I heard there are toxic things in there like mercury.
Well, for mercury, before 2001, vaccines did contain some mercury for preservative purposes, but it was not found that this mercury caused any type of side effects typical of mercury poisoning. After 2001, vaccines now employ preservatives that do not contain any heavy metals.
So how do we know if nothing else in the vaccine's dangerous? How do they test it?
Here, I have some diagrams that might help explain it. Once the vaccine has been developed in a lab, they use animal models, usually mice or monkeys, to test the vaccine for safety and for major side effects. Following this testing, vaccines can be approved for human clinical trials. Clinical trials start out small, only testing about 50 people. Then, once they've determined that the vaccine is safe in humans, they start a more in-depth trial with a few hundred individuals to test the efficacy of the vaccine. Once they've made sure that it works the way it is expected to, scientists conduct large-scale studies on thousands of people to determine that the vaccine can work on a wide variety of people. These trials can last a long time, as follow-up can be needed to determine the appropriate vaccine dosage. Only after these phases can a vaccine be approved for public distribution.
You know, I also heard that vaccines can cause autism.
Rest assured, that acclaimed link has been discredited by many major medical groups. Actually, I just read recently about a study involving 95,000 children that found zero link between the MMR vaccine and developing autism.
I'm looking at the facts here, and I really think that the way to go is for my child to have the shot. Thank you, doctor.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help alleviate any of your hesitations. How about we get him vaccinated then?